Eventually, I did get that job, but the learning here is, surprisingly, your manager doesn't even spend 5% of their time thinking about you compared to the time you spend in thinking about you. If they didn't bring it up, it's maybe because they have so many things on their plate and they assume you will talk with them when you are ready. If you want to be a leader, you have to take a lead. Do you ever feel you are ready for the next promotion to the leadership role? You bring great results consistently, and you get very good feedback from your manager on a performance review, and you work really hard. But you have never made it to the final. You even sometimes were not considered or shortlisted. This is a video for you. I'm going to share in this video how not to stay in the middle management in the year to come. But first things first, let's talk about the mistakes you might be making without even noticing it. And the number one is you are exposing the risk of having you at the top. The typical behavior is you don't take personal responsibilities to create a better culture or better environment. You criticize your company and your management. You complain about your colleagues. And as soon as you see a problem, it's always someone else's job to solve it. Maybe you don't realize it, but this behavior of being very negative not only eats your own productivity and kill your own future opportunity, it also eats other people's good attitude and positive vibe of the day. You might think others want to hear your insights by criticizing and complain about certain aspects of the company or management, but very often they really don't. And to complain is the least effective way to connect with anybody. I would like you to reflect on yourself and all the conversations you had with your colleagues. If many of them are about frustrations, complaints, and critics, maybe it's time to reflect what went wrong. This could live in many forms. It can be that you're criticizing your team members or your peers not contributing as much as you are, or you are criticizing your top management not reacting fast enough to the market change. And as soon as you discover yourself doing that, you might be falling into this category. And I have made a whole video about how to hold yourself accountable. You can have a look. The second mistake, which I have personally made myself, is just because you are doing your current job very well, you are expecting a promotion. As you know, in performance review, there are two metrics. First is your performance, and second is your potential. Even if you have demonstrated a really great performance, but not so much in potential, you are still staying in the bottom of the grid. Just because you are smashing it at your current job doesn't mean you are necessarily ready for the promotion. Most companies would expect you to demonstrate you can do a job above your current level for a period of time, ideally 6 months above, so that they will consider you for the next promotion. The next mistake is you assume your manager is the only person you need to impress. The more senior you go, especially now in this video, we're talking about going from the middle management to the top leadership role, the more there will be people involved in giving you their vote. It's sometimes made of a panel of people in power, and your manager have a say, but sometimes it's not up to just him or her. The next mistake is you make this promotional case all about yourself rather than your team or your company. This could look like this. I've been here for 5 years, I've been working really hard, delivering great results, and now it's my time for the next level. Yeah, you make it all about you and your need, your job satisfaction, your career progression, not about the bigger picture. And sometimes it's very easy to lose the sight of your company's vision, the purpose, and why you are hired in the first place, which contributing to that vision and purpose. Being a leader, it's no longer just about you. You will be responsible for a group of people. Sometimes it can be dozens, hundreds, or even thousands, and you are responsible for the health of your organization. The next mistake is you assume your manager knows you are ready. This is a mistake I personally made myself. So at the time, I was the internal communication director. I had that job for 4 years, and I was ready to move to the next position. Then, soon after, the external communication director job was open, and it was reporting to the same manager as I did, the SVP of communication. And I thought that would be a perfect next step for me, because then I would have not only internal scope but also the external communication scope on my resume. So I proactively offered my help to the SVP in shaping the future organization, even putting everything on paper, I thought my attitude and my gesture was just so clear that I was ready for that job. But up until this job was posted for public application, he never even asked me if I want this job. So I went to him and I said I plan to apply. You have no idea how shocked he was that he said to me, I never thought you would be ever interested. Eventually I did get that job, but the learning here is, surprisingly, your manager doesn't even spend 5% of their time thinking about you compared to the time you spend in thinking about you. If they didn't bring it up, it's maybe because they have so many things on their plate and they assume you will talk with them when you are ready. If you want to be a leader, you have to take a lead. That means taking personal responsibilities for your career growth and personal growth. Even sometimes it involves having these uncomfortable conversations and putting yourself forward. The next mistake is you are passive and you're expected to be handheld. This is quite different from being micromanaged. Nobody likes to be micromanaged, but many people expect to get instructions from the top. As you become more senior, the less instructions you will get from your manager, your CEO, your president. The more you are expected to ask useful questions, find a path forward, and influence top to gain the consensus from your peers and the board, and as well to be able to put that into perspective and influence people who need to work with you and work for you so that they feel engaged and want to take action with you. And remember, companies are not fixed entities. They keep having new problems, new challenges, and they need to keep evolving. That requires you as a leader to keep developing, keep learning, and keep evolving yourself and giving new solutions to the new problems. If you want to know more about how to be a great leader in the modern world, I have made a video. You can have a look here. The next mistake is have to be right instead of make it right. As a leader, you will have many situations where you don't agree with others or other people disagree with you. In these situations, you will need to show your respect, the same kind of respect you expect other people to treat you. It's about listen actively, try to be helpful, and it's all about making it right rather than have to be right. The next mistake is not making your impact visible. This is not about bragging about yourself or bragging about your work. It's about telling others what you're doing, why does it matter, and why should they even care about it. The more senior you go, the less people will be above you, and the more you will need to be able to influence across and under. Give the picture of how does success look like, and how the work you are doing, your team is doing, is relevant, contributing to that big vision of success. And I have made a whole video about how to communicate a vision and what makes a great vision statement. You can have a look at this video here. Next, let's talk about what to do. First, if you are making the mistake I mentioned earlier, being negative and complaining about your company and criticizing other people, you might want to manage your frustrations and communicate constructively. I've made a video of how to lead when you are feeling negative. You can have a look here. Second, you need to consistently demonstrate the attitude, competence, and behavior above your current job level, and do that for at least a period of 6 months. The next thing you need to do is to communicate impact rather than communicating just result. You need to be able to connecting the dots for your company, show the value and impact of yourself, your team, and your department. How is it contributing to the company's growth and the company's vision? The next thing you can do is to ask for feedbacks. Everyone has blind spots, and constructive feedbacks can really help you to identify those. When asking for feedbacks, please do not ask your colleague during a coffee machine time. They only have 15 seconds making a coffee to respond to you. Also, don't ask big questions like what can I improve? Actually, I have made a whole video about how to ask for feedbacks, and you can have a look here. The next thing you can do is to have a mentor and a sponsor, and don't mix mentor with a sponsor. A mentor is someone who teaches you the dancing skill, and a sponsor is to get you the invitation to the party. And I made a whole video about how to attract a sponsor and what to do with a sponsor. You can have a look here. The next thing you need is to become expert communicator. Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. If you cannot communicate, you cannot lead. I have made a free workbook you can download in the comment area below. It's 3 steps to communicate with impact and outcome. These are some of the steps I took to get my first vice president position in a Fortune 500 company with over 100,000 employees. And if you are serious to get your top leadership promotion this year, I would invite you to join me in my signature coaching program, the 1% Academy, where I mapped out every 6 steps. And you can find the link in the comment area below.